All right, hey everyone. So the description says that I was going to keep writing tests for the new Shift CLI tool, and yeah, I felt that was kind of boring. And then I remembered I wanted to work on a new project, a new shift that's a little time sensitive. I kind of lost track of time. That happens when you're a parent. So let's kind of start that. I thought that'd be more fun. Again, Emma has started daddy daycare, so I really only have about 30 minutes at a time, so it makes a nice little quick sprint. But we'll check out a new branch and kind of start building this. And I thought it'd be cool to kind of do it live, more interesting again than writing tests, because it'd be nice to get a little bit of audience feedback. So if you join me live, the few of you that have, thanks, and we'll see what you all think about it. So I'm trying to think of what to call this. It's not really a secret project. It's really what this is really. I don't care. It's not like a secret. I'm really trying to make a little April Fool's shift. Just something that's a little bit fun, a little bit of humor, with everything going on with AI and, again, of course, April Fools and just kind of these jokes. I thought it would be kind of fun to take some of the data that Shift has and make like an April Fool's shift where Shift is like Shift is kind of like angry robot. I don't know. That's the rough idea. So let's kind of see how that might take shape. So that's the rough idea. If you want to kind of join along in the chat, tell me what you think. So yeah, we'll go from there. Hey Adrian, how's it going? Hey Scott. So let's bring up Shift, and let's make sure I didn't click the wrong screen there. All right, cool. So anytime I make a new shift, I gotta go into, I gotta wait for PHP Storm to catch up. There's a shift factory, and it's just this massive match statement. Basically just generates me a factory. So I'm just going to call this AF. And this will be a Laravel. I'll just call it April Fools. All right, and let's make that. We'll see if this is in the right spot first of all. And again, I'm just going to kind of outline this today. So I think what we'll do is let's take the Laravel 10 shift. This isn't going to have a requirement necessarily of, I think it would probably have a requirement of Laravel 6 or higher, I think, but let's just call this April Fools. It is a Laravel type shift. Again, I don't know what I'll call this. We'll just call it like April Fools for now. I don't think I'll have any stuff, but I'll just put it under Laravel AF. So this is all just kind of metadata about where some of the resources and stuff come from. Again, the latest version here, it can just stay the latest version of Laravel 10. That's fine. Here's where I want to start kind of chatting about what this shift would kind of do. So let me get rid of all of these because I'm not going to do any of that now. So again, the premise of this is much like the upgrade checker, which we should probably compare, and the Laravel fixer. This would kind of just go through your code and again, in kind of a fun April Foolsy kind of way, maybe give you that little kick in your butt. Shift might be a little more pointy than it is normally, and just say, hey, here's some things that we saw, why the heck aren't you doing this? So let me get a few of these tasks that I know I kind of want to make. And again, I think taking a look at the upgrade checker is probably a start. So let's kind of see let's just kind of go through these at a high level, and we'll kind of see which ones I want to keep. So yeah, first of all, I think if we go in April Fools, check version, I think. So first of all, if you're not running the latest version of Laravel, Shift's gonna gripe at you. That makes sense. And again, a lot of these are just gonna need to be changed. I wouldn't wanna upsell anything. Again, this isn't like 100%. I think there's marketing enough in the April Fools kind of fun aspect of it, to maybe people would share it on their own or talk about it on their own. So I'm not super worried about like upselling anything here. This is just more about the fun of it. So I think instead though, what I want to do here is like look at like check name. I don't like that I'm calling all these check. Let's just call this Laravel version. And then we would call this like vanity namespace. Okay, so like if you're not using the app default namespace, if you've made some custom one, like why waste your time? Another one that I would want to do, which is here, would be like code style. So your project needs some kind of code style, or evident that maybe you're using Pint. So hopefully that's there. So let's get rid of that. I'm not too worried about PHP syntax. That's too much. This is very Laravel focused. Helpers. Is there anything with helpers? I don't think so. We have Laravel version already. PHP version, that's a good one. So let's bring this up with the other one. Let's call it April Fools. So if you're running like an old version of PHP, like get your mind right. Registered providers. What does this do? I forgot. Oh yeah, it's all the old ones. Okay, so again, that's upgrade checker kind of focused. So let's change that. Let's drop this in and call it global aliases. So this is more about like facades. All right, let's keep that. I do want to check. I don't know. Controller and model inheritance they're a bit specific. What's Eloquent do? Again, these are upgrade checkers. We're going to leave those alone, I think. I think some of this stuff will come from the fixer. So I'm going to start being a little more heavy-handed. Let's definitely do the unused folders. Like there's a chance to streamline your application. So that's good. What's the routes do? Routes folder, route method, controller namespace. Yeah, you should be using like the modern routing syntax. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Auth control, what's blade tags do? I think this is the old. Yeah, can't have that, can't have that. What kind of deprecations do we look for? Oh yeah. Again, upgrade checker, your app would be broken if you're still using those. The array string methods I think makes sense. Let's keep that. You might still somehow magically have those in your application. I think, I don't think I'll tool around with core files. We're not really about that. I definitely want to gripe about the configs. Let's see, what else do we have here? Custom namespace, so that's the vanity namespace of VUB, so that's fine. Webpack. You could gripe about Vite, but like, there's still a lot of things Vite's missing. So I think people sticking on Webpack is fine. Test namespace, test assertions, logging. I think the model folder would be a funny one. Tests are definitely something to gripe about. Anonymous migrations we could definitely mess with. Type hints, I think these are good. These are pretty good. Okay. And again, the order of these might change. Let's take a look at the fixer and see what else might be kind of opinionated that Shift does that we would want to keep. So of course, versions, we already have all that. Global references, fine. Core inheritance, oh, query and views, perfect. Credit controllers, oh yeah, these are good. These are good. We could like make a reference to like Adam Wathan being mad at you for not using credit controllers. That'd be great. All right, what else do we have? Mailables, blade directives, I think that's good. That's a good one. Yeah, like if you're not taking advantage of all the stuff Blade has to offer. What else do we have? Streamline order by, nah, that's pretty tiny. Ooh, form requests. I think that's good. Yeah. And the ENV helper, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. Class-based routes, there's another nice one. Yeah, okay, let's take a couple of these. And I think that's gonna be good enough. Let's do that. All right, so let's kind of backfill these here. So credit controllers is good. Blade directives, you know, make sure you're leveraging Blade and not just writing PHP in your Blade templates. That'd be fun. Request access, again, that's pretty helpful. Fluent response, no. Fluent redirect, no. I think we could gripe about env helper, like if you're using config and not the env helper. Again, a little bit more of a forceful comment. That's pretty minor. That's minor. I think fluent routes, that kind of goes with routes up here. So let's just kill that other one. And then class-based routes, I think would kind of be another one. Yeah. I think those kind of go hand in hand. Okay, so let's kind of like review what I'm thinking here. And again, if you have ideas or questions, for those of you that are attending live, please throw it in the comments, because again, this is kind of a idea I had a while back that would be funny. You know, I think I was talking about it at one of the conferences last fall, you know, just having some drinks, and someone was like, you should have like Shift yell at people or something, you know, like for not following some of the conventions. And we kind of got to talking about it, and I was like, that could be funny, but you know, it's got to be well placed. Like you can't make all the shifts angry. So again, I think around April Fools, you know, as kind of a joke, and set it up that like, you know, Shift is frustrated after like 7 years of upgrading 85,000 applications that like you're not doing, you know, these things. So that's kind of like how I would set it up. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the chat. I think it's kind of funny. Again, being kind of the angry AI bot, I think you see some humor around that out there already. So I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so anyway, April Fool's Laravel version, of course, it would want to tell you to be running the Laravel, latest version of Laravel. Same with PHP. If you're running anything prior to like 8.1, it's going to be like, hey, that's an old version. Vanity namespace, if you've customized your namespace, you know, I think a little hint there that like, you know, what are you doing? Nobody does this anymore, kind of thing. I think we could also take a look at like folder structure. You know, if you've got some weird stuff like, you know, modules, for example, there's always, I mean, Shift can do it, but I feel like I get a lot more support issues when people have like really messed with the folder structure. I'm not necessarily talking about like domain-driven design. I think, you know, that's fine, because even that kind of goes under the app folder. So you're just kind of changing the way you structure it underneath there, or organizing things. But when you're putting stuff out in like a completely different source folder, it just, I don't know, it starts to get weird. So I think there's something to mention there. Again, code style I mentioned before, global aliases. There's really no reason not to reference the facades directly anymore. Unused folders, again, opportunity to streamline your application. Fluid, these are kind of more like the latest conventions. So some of these like fluent method stuff. I'm going to get rid of this array string method. That doesn't really make any sense. I think the config files are something to gripe about. That's kind of a hill that Shift dies on a lot. I probably won't gripe about the models folder. There's too much back and forth about that. I don't think there's a definitive place to stand on the models folder. Tests. This is a huge one. I mean, if you don't have any tests in your application, I think let's let Shift yell at you. Anonymous migrations is a small thing. I think we can get rid of that. Type hints I might gripe about only if you're on Laravel 10. I think there's, queries and views. I mean, come on. What are you doing? Credit controllers, again, nice little thing, blast from the past. I think there's an opportunity to kind of say something about that. So yeah, type hints is probably the least out of all these. Again, I want these to be like, you can't really argue with these. If you're doing like, solid Laravel development, these shouldn't feel weird to you that, it's going to gripe on one of these things. There shouldn't be like opportunity for debate, so to speak. Sure, you might not like it. You might not want to write your code that way. That's fine. But it's the way Laravel does it. So I think these are pretty good in the way in which Laravel does it now and has been doing it for quite a while. Again, if you have just floating around folders with .getKeep, like, come on, you can get rid of those. Tests, config files is kind of a Shift thing, so I think that's funny. Query and views, I mean, we know you're not necessarily supposed to be doing that. I think the only one that, again, I think looking at it from that perspective, I think the type hints is probably an oddball out. So I'll probably drop that. And again, it would only be kind of specific to Laravel 10. So, why? Okay, well, I think that's pretty much it. Again, let me know what you think in the chat, or if you can think of anything else. I'm just kind of like gonna scroll through these one more time. I don't think I'm gonna generate these classes. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's just a lot of alt-inner in PHP Storm, and then copying, some of the checks that already existed, since we pulled most of these from the upgrade checker and the Laravel fixer. So I'm really just going to take that code, and instead of actually making the change, just leave a little warning comment on the PR. Again, this is just a PR with some gripey Shift comments and emojis. Like, it's meant to be kind of in fun, but at the same time for a quote-unquote mature audience. So yeah, again, if you think of anything else that would be maybe something Shift could gripe about, that would be nice. I think I would add it. I wonder, like, I don't know, is there an opportunity to like check for like a CI workflow? Again, I'm just trying to think of like modern Laravel application development. Like, what should you be using in your projects now? Again, a chance for Shift to kind of give you a little poke, give you a nudge, more so than it would do, in the other shifts. The other shifts are about upgrading. It doesn't really make sense to talk about, CI or whatever. But not everybody runs the fixer, so they don't necessarily see some of these opinions. So again, I think if this is something that were used, even just for fun, it's a chance to kind of build awareness too, right? It's not just for like, Shift to be angry. So yeah, Laravel version, I think the versions, the namespaces, folder structures, code style, again, these are just things that always come up with Shift. It's a chance to kind of gripe about those. I think the rest of these are kind of looking for modern conventions, and then of course best practices like tests. I think we kind of land on that one at the end. And then some obvious things that just like code quality improvements, like queries and views, credit controllers, request access, using Blade directly, performance of using the env helper over config, like all those types of things. So yeah, cool. Well, hopefully I can build this in the next 2 days since April Fool's is Saturday. Of course, I'll probably, it won't only be available on April Fool's. I'll probably leave it up for, the first week of April. But I do imagine some people won't take this with the fun and lightheartedness that it's intended to have. So again, I'm not going to leave this up forever. It's just kind of a one-time fun thing for people that find it fun. And then the people that get angry, they can quit being angry when I take it down in a week. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining live. Poked it out. We'll see. But hopefully in the next few live streams, I'll get back to that shift CLI. But I do know Laircast is continuing to release episodes for the creator series that I made. Oh, comment. A nice poke would be to detect the number of dependencies. Oh yeah, totally agree. That's a good one. Yeah, if you've got like 50 freaking dependencies in your project, like give me a break. Yeah, let's do that. Number of dependencies, or what we'll say dependency count. Dependency count. Yeah. Cool. I like it. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, if you think of any more things like that, hit me up on Twitter, put it in the YouTube comments. Again, a little time sensitive since I'm going to be building this in the next few days, and then I'll launch it and probably won't add to it again. It's kind of short-lived and fun. But yeah, I think this is a good one. We'll throw this up here with the versions where I'm kind of already checking other composer stuff. So yeah, I think that's a perfect one. I'd actually considered that a couple weeks ago, but I'd forgotten it. So thank you. All right, well, again, thanks everyone for joining live. Let me know if you have any other ideas. Otherwise, hopefully you check it out when it's launched. And don't get too offended. See ya.